Hi, I'm Ed Shoemaker, and today is day 10 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on doing at least two things every day that I don't want to do just because I know it's good for me, or they're things that just need to be done. So, yay for day 10! Um, so I'm on day 10, 90 days to go, which is still way too many. Today I'm just struggling. I'm always struggling, so this is nothing new for me. This is just my life. And I just need to accept that this is my life, but I don't want to and I don't like to, so that's just one of those things that I'm having a difficult time with. So, um, today, honestly, I just woke up and I still wasn't feeling very good. I still have a little bit of a headache. I mean, I've had worse headaches. My migraines have been way worse. This is like day 3, so it's definitely on the mend and getting better. I just didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to do anything. So I messaged my supervisor to see, because I've never called in sick to work since I started this job. So I don't even know how to call in sick for work. So I'm like, it's okay if I don't come into work today because I have a migraine. And she's like, well, it's all right, but you have to have a doctor's note. And I was like, great. So I have to go to work to get a doctor's note from one of the doctors in the office that I work at. And I'm like, well, as long as I have to get ready and go to work, I may as well just tough it out and go to work because I've done that tons of times before. But then I was just all upset and depressed and was crying and just moping and complaining because I just don't feel good and I just haven't had enough sleep over the weekend and just not adjusting to this job, not wanting to go, just having a, emotional time. And I feel like I definitely need a mental health day. I just need to not have to go to work today. I just need some time because I'm pushing myself and I'm doing all kinds of things. And I remember when I was talking to my Al-Anon J friend last Friday, she was telling me that I push myself and I do a lot of things and I do too much sometimes. I overdo it. And I didn't even notice that she noticed that in me or that I did that to myself. I know I do that. I push myself too far and then my body's like, we're done. And so emotionally, I think I was done. I'd hit that spot where I was just like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And I did get myself to exercise and I was praying about it and I was crying about it. I'll be honest, I was crying this morning because I was just not happy. And I just had this thought, I need to just feel my emotions and let myself cry. And plus, when I told my supervisor that I was going to come to work, because I'm like, I told her, I said, well, I have to come to work to get a doctor's note, so I may as well just come to work. And she's like, okay, well, I gave your spot away, so now you're in the back instead of in the front. And I've never been in the back room, and there's nothing wrong with the back room. In fact, it means that I don't have to deal with the people like face to face, just my coworkers. I just have to answer the phones and do the bubbles and whatever on the computer, which is a lot easier. It doesn't require as much multitasking. It doesn't require as many interruptions. There's not as much noise. So it's actually a much better place for me to be when I don't feel good is in the back. So I was taking it as like I'm being punished because I did this, and I'm like office hasn't even opened yet. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. How in the world is like have you already given away my spot and you can't fix whatever? Like it just yeah. I took it all super personally this morning and I didn't want to do that. So I did a lot of praying. I read my scriptures and meditationals. I did a little bit of crying and then I was like, okay, this is a blessing. God is blessing me. He is giving me a quieter place to work today to make it okay so that I can get through my day at work. And I was reading my scriptures and reading about the Savior and being tempted multiple times with things and always just going through and doing it anyway and thinking, okay, well, I can do it. I mean, he's perfect, I'm not, but it kind of just took away my excuse for not doing that and be like, okay, I just need to have a better attitude. But as hard as I tried today, I will be honest, as hard as I tried and prayed for a better attitude, I still got to work and I was like, I don't want to be here. And then I'm sitting at work and I'm focusing on the fact that I feel nauseous and that my head is hurting. And I think I was making myself worse by focusing on how crappy I was feeling. And I was like, I need to stop focusing on this and I just need to focus on my work. And I really struggled to do that. I really did. And I had a few moments where I was just like, I can't move. I don't feel good. And I just don't want to end up throwing up at work because I was nauseous. And eventually I just messaged my supervisor and I was like, okay, if I put myself on a schedule to see one of the doctors, I'll just get a note and take the afternoon off. And she was like, okay. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing this. So I saw one of the PAs, not the one I usually see, just another one, but the other one that I usually see was there as well. So I've got two PAs that I'm talking to and just talking to the one, but the other one's overhearing. And then she's like, oh, you're feeling nauseous? And I was like, yes, I'm feeling very nauseous. And she's like, oh, you should get a shot then. And I was like, a shot? I didn't sign up for a shot. I don't want a shot. But I don't want to feel nauseous either. And I mean, I guess it's better than going to the emergency room or to the hospital. So it's very convenient. And then, of course, I told my the PA that I needed a doctor's note for work. And so, it's hard and it's embarrassing for me to do that sort of a thing because I don't need or want everybody in the office to know that I have a migraine, that I don't feel good, that I'm going home for the day, but then I have to put myself on the schedule. I have to get somebody to do my vitals. I have to get someone to take me to the room. And it just, and I know they do their best to follow like the HIPAA guidelines and rules and to keep things confidential so that it's not the whole office knows. It just feels like the whole office knows. And I think it just triggers a lot of things for me, like a roommate in college telling me I'm a hypochondriac and my biological mother always having one ailment after another. And just that usually I use being sick as an excuse to get out of doing things, or I use being sick or don't feel good as, a way to get attention. But I'm like, I don't want the attention from work. I don't want that kind of attention in my life. And I was just like, oh, well, like this is so much harder for me to have to jump through all of these hoops just because I don't feel good and I just need to not be at work today. I'm like, I just needed some time off. So I'm thinking I probably just need to look at my calendar and schedule and see how much time I have on whatever days and see if there's just a week or something that I could just take a week off of work just so I can breathe and not have to deal with work for a week and see how productive I can be around my house and do other things without having to deal with work for a week. But I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if that's going to work. And of course, the only week I could think I want to take off would be like in September for the ANWA conference and just take the whole week off. And then I could go to a writing conference and do some other things and it would be fun and it would be nice. So and even though I didn't want to get the shot, I didn't say anything. I just accepted the shot. I also accepted the free samples for the migraine medication that I got. So I'm like, I'll take that. And then I did get the shot, and literally within like 5 minutes, I was not feeling nauseous anymore. And I was like, I'm not nauseous anymore. And I mean, my head doesn't hurt that horribly badly, so I could probably just stay at work for the whole day and just go eat my lunch and then go back to my desk and just work the rest of the day and just forget that I even asked for a doctor's note. But I already asked for a doctor's note. I already jumped through all of the hoops so I could take the day off. And so then I'm like, well, now I don't really need the day off because I don't feel nauseous and I don't have an excuse to not take the day off. But I just went home. I was like, I gave the note to my supervisor, put it on her desk, and I just left. And I'm like, I hope that's okay because I told her I didn't feel good and she knows I didn't want to be there today. So, and I'm in the back and nobody's really talking to me. I'm not interacting with everybody in the front anyway. So I was like, I don't care. I'm just gone. So I left. And then of course my editing friend called me and texted me while I was at work, and I called her back, and I didn't really want to do that either because I was like, I don't feel good. I don't want to deal with people and I'm home. But I was able to talk to her and just kind of reason things out loud with what's going on and why I took the day off, the afternoon off of work, because she's like, oh, don't you have to go back to work? And I'm like, nope, I took it off. And she's like, well, sometimes I just need a mental health day. And I was like, yeah, that would be nice. I don't think those are allowed at my job. So I just don't think they're allowed. So especially if I have to jump through all these hoops because I just feel like I have a migraine, and it's not the worst one in the world, but and I'm sure I was focusing so much on my symptoms that it just made them seem worse than they actually were. And I probably could have toughed it out. I've toughed it out so many times in my life. I just didn't feel like toughing it out today. So I didn't. But I talked to my friend, and then I was trying to convince her that I didn't want to do something that she wants me to do. And I finally just agreed to it in the end. So it's not a horrible thing. It's just there's a publishing company, Paper Raven Books. It's not really a publishing company. It's I don't know what you call it. It's like an assistant publishing company. It's kind of weird what they do. Basically, you pay them to edit your books and create your book covers, and pay them to launch your books with like the initial marketing sequence and everything else like that. And then they give you all the tools and stuff to continue the marketing process and do everything else beyond that. So they basically set it all up for you. So they set you up for success, but then you have to follow through. So, kind of like paying for someone to edit my books and paying for someone to do the book covers and then paying someone to do the marketing, and they do all of that all in one for my book, but I still have to write the book. I still get the copyright. Everything is still mine. Like, I still own all of that, so it all falls under me, which is fantastic. They just do all of the stuff I don't know how to do, that I need to learn from my other writing friends. And of course, my editing friend was like, other self-published authors, some of them learn how to do all of the marketing and all the other things like that, and eventually they get their books to take off and they become a success, but it's a lot of work. And it takes a lot of time, and it's really hard to do that if you don't know what you're doing, or if you don't have the time or the energy to do it. So she doesn't want me to be stuck in that situation, so she wants to help me just do this launch thing, and she paid for a meeting with the company, and I was like, okay. I was like, I've already heard of them, and I already didn't do it because I don't have the money to pay for it, which I still don't have the money to pay for it. But she's trying to convince me that it's worth taking out a loan or borrowing money from somebody, and I just don't want to do that. And she's even offering to invest in it, but then she's going to have to get paid back for it, and then she's going to want a percentage of like the sales or something on top of that. So in lieu of interest for the loan, I would have to like pay like a percentage of the profits for the sales and things like that from the books. And I'm just like, that's just a lot of stuff I don't want to do. But granted, I might have a better launch. I might have a better book, the first one to go out. And yes, if I had the money, I would have already paid them to do this, and I wouldn't be asking her to edit my books. I wouldn't be going to other people to help me to make it the best that it can be, even though it's not going to be perfect, and even though it's not going to attract like millions of readers or thousands of readers the first day that I publish it. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with starting small and not going ginormous as much as I would like to do that. I'm okay with building from the bottom up and not having all of that. But I also do like the idea of getting a lot of money off of my books and being able to make enough money with my books that I don't have to do my job. And my job would then be writing books, and I would have to set aside and make a whole lot more time to write my books and edit my books, in which case I could publish them more often or more quickly because I would have more time, and assuming I would put all of that extra time and effort into it, because I've had time and I don't do it. So I can't guarantee that I would do it even if I have the time, but there would be a little bit more pressure because that would be my only source of income, to actually write the books, to have the income. And then of course the residual income of people continuing to buy the books, because word of mouth gets spread around and they like my books and more people read it, and then the growing, fan base, basically, which is kind of the idea with YouTube videos, which I've been doing for a couple of years, and I'm up to 16 subscribers. So, and I get anywhere from like 1 to 23, 24 people that watch my videos. I think the most I hit ever was like 32. So, and I'm okay with that. And I know I will probably never make money off of my YouTube videos, and they will probably never reach like a big, huge, large audience, but I'm grateful for the small little audience of people that do watch, and I hope that watching my videos is inspiring and helpful to other people. I hope something I say is helpful to them, and if nothing else, it helps me, and I feel good about myself, and I feel like accomplished in doing something. And of course, my editing friend was pointing out, that's like, you put in all this time and effort and do all this stuff and you hardly get anything back. It's like, it's not worth it. And I was like, okay, but it just depends on the expectation of what you're expecting to get back. And, I do like the expectation or the idea, the fantasy of, people love my book so much they want to turn it into a movie and I become a millionaire and I never have problems with money again, and I can help out all of my friends and all of my family, and I can build my dream house, and I can quit my job, and I can, live in a life of luxury. But I've never had all of that. I would probably freak out if all of that happened overnight. I would just be like, I don't know what to do with all this money. I don't know what to do with all these things. I mean, even my brain right now is trying to figure out what to do with all the money I may or may not get from an accident that I had last year. And I don't even know how much money that's going to be. So I'm trying to just I have to wait and see. As hard as that is, I have to wait and see how much money I actually get, when I actually get that money. And then depending on where I'm at in my life at that point, and what money I owe to different people, places, and things is going to determine what I actually end up doing with that money. So, I mean, I can come up with ideas and things right now, but I don't know how it's actually going to turn out. And if my only expectation of publishing my book is that I want the satisfaction and I want to feel like I've accomplished doing this and that I've met a goal and that it's huge for me to have put myself out there to do this, regardless of what the response from the public is, just like making these videos, then it's totally worth it to me to publish my book as a self-publish and try to figure out how to market and do all that stuff myself. And then if I don't get a lot of books out there or sales or things like that, I could just be like, well, it's probably because there's not enough word of mouth, and it's because I'm not very good at marketing, and because I have to learn and develop new skills. Just like with my YouTube videos, I would probably get a lot more watches and views and be able to build up my base a little bit more if I did weekly videos instead of daily videos, and if I edited my videos every week and made them look nice before I posted them. So those are things that I could probably learn how to do, and it wouldn't hurt me to learn how to do them. I just don't really like watching myself, and I need to learn to do that too. So it's just, but again, it's more time, it takes more effort, and it's doing all of that myself. And then eventually I can get to where I make money, and then I can hire other people to help me, which will make my videos that much better, and I can learn more about the process and make them even that much better. So there's lots of things that I can do to make it better, and I understand that. Or lots of ways to promote it to make it better. I understand that too, but right now I don't have the time or the energy, and I just feel good about the idea of putting it out there and hoping that, I have a lot of friends and family that are avid readers, that know other people that are avid readers, and they'll spread the word. And yes, I know I have less than 300 friends on my Facebook page to spread the word, but I mean, even if 200 of them spread it to 200, that's 400, and if those 200 spread it to another 200, that's 800. I mean, eventually it'll get out there, it'll get around if it's good enough, and maybe they don't spread it around. Maybe 50 people send it to 25 people, but then at least 75 people have it. So it will grow and build up on its own very slowly, or it may not ever be big or something that I can live off of, but it would be a little bit of extra income. It might help a little bit here or there. And I would, at this point in my life, I've kind of accepted that, and I'm okay with that. But I'm also grateful that my editing friend has not accepted that, and that she thinks my book deserves more attention and deserves to have the best, and to put it out there with a big, huge launch to get the most out of it. And she's probably right. But again, the way the world works and with marketing and everything else, it costs the money. And if I felt like I could make the money back off my book, which maybe I could, it's totally worth it. I just don't have the money, and I can't magically make it appear. So I'm not sure where that's going to go or what I'm going to do with that. But I am grateful that Heavenly Father was helping me to be open-minded about all of it, because I do need to be open-minded about the possibilities. I'm grateful that I was willing to call my friend and discuss it. And even though I didn't want to set up a time or a meeting or anything else like that, she'd already paid the money for it. She already set up a meeting time that I couldn't make. And then I told her, what works for me. And so she found something on the schedule that works so that we could still do the meeting, and she wants to come and do it together. So at least I don't have to do it by myself. But lots of things I just did not want to do. But then I just took a nap after I got off the phone with her. I went to sleep, and I was like, yay, I needed to sleep. And I slept for 3 or 4 hours. So I guess I just really needed to get some sleep to feel better. And then I got up so I could make dinner and write in my journal and make a video, and I get to go back to bed again because I'm still really tired. So hopefully I will wake up in a better mood tomorrow, and hopefully tomorrow will be better, and then I can focus on doing more of the other things that I have been putting off doing that need to be done. So anyway, and I'm really hoping that I can keep finding ways to look at the positive side of everything in all of these videos for the next 90 days, because I want to be learning and growing through this process, and I want to be getting things done that I've been avoiding doing during this process. I don't want it to just be whining and complaining, and because I have to do stuff I don't want to do. But whining and complaining is so easy for me to do, and it comes so naturally. So and I cry because I have to do things or because I don't want to do things. So I did some crying today too. So that's just part of life. These are things I'm trying to learn how to accept that I don't want to, but I get to. So that is all I have for today's video. If you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think they'll like it too. And if you're learning something or have something you want to share, please feel free to comment below. And hope you have a great day full of gratitude, and maybe try doing a couple things you don't want to do just because they're good for you.